Well, it's crazy to believe that this year is over. It's been a great ride. I've learned an incredible amount about what teaching truly is. I finished up my last week with a few lessons of my own, some interactivity and some writing, talking about genocides, and it really hit home for the kids, and it was a phenomenal chance to really teach them something. I actually had a little incident with one student who is Turkish, of Turkish descent, and she had uh, issues with the teaching of the Armenian genocide. And I had a real quick course on how to handle situations that students might not like in the classroom. And so allowing her to voice her opinion while also voicing mine and the rest of the world's almost that the Armenian genocide did happen was interesting. And I'm going to take that into my teaching of being sensitive to others' natures. And she was great after the next day, but it was definitely a rough patch with her dealing with that. The week after that, I did some observations and went in and saw some teachers and saw some different styles. It was a lot of lecture. It wasn't a lot of interactivity, and so I felt good about my classroom. Students actually wrote me a note in each class, and it was really comforting to read and see just how they've really felt about my time with them. I felt humbled that they respected me the way that they did. And they actually threw a surprise party for me the last day that I was there. And we had some cake and other stuff like that for each class period, and I was, needless to say, quite full. But to look at the entire semester of student teaching as a whole, what I found was that it takes time. It takes time to create lessons that are engaging, multiple activities, and not just what I saw in high school. It takes time to create meaningful connections for students, something that I'm really excited about doing as I enter the classroom. It takes time and takes research. Using current events to your advantage is phenomenal, but it takes a while to get those current events in there. You have to spend your free time looking at news events and looking at the news and trying to figure out, well, can I tie that into my teaching? How can I do that? How can I do this? And I thought I did a good job with that overall. But I just think that there's always more you can do with that because it's something that really connects students to it as a whole. I learned so much about organization this past year and what it means to be organized as a teacher. You almost have to have a type A attitude when you go into the classroom and then let it go afterwards. Type A in planning, type B in teaching. I found that finally, once if I had a lesson ready and I knew that I was going to enjoy it, it would go incredibly well. Even if I had to switch things up, I learned a lot about being willing to change my plans as we went through the course of the year. Whether that looked at the curriculum map when I was looking at my peerlism unit, or whether it was individual lessons and switching stuff up, or spending more time on one topic rather than the other topic. I found that timing is an issue for me. It's something that I'm going to have to always work at. Is making sure that my timing is down straight and down pat. I learned a lot about reflection, and I've kind of already discussed that, but it really, I am a different teacher than what I was day one. I feel that I'm more flexible. I feel that I'm actually even more stern in some ways. But I learned a lot about discipline. Learned a lot about discipline isn't an issue when you give kids a reason to be motivated. And that's something that I thoroughly enjoyed. It was something that by allowing students to be motivated, whether it was by my selling or whether by the material itself, it worked, and it worked well. I just enjoyed this year, and I can't wait to have a classroom next year, hopefully, where I can build on this and continue to grow, because this isn't the end. This is the end of the beginning. And I can't wait to have my own classroom. I can't wait. Just had some great lessons. The Italian unification lesson where I made a map on the floor. the ability of giving students the opportunity to teach themselves, which some of them didn't like, but some of them did. Some of them created great things, some of them didn't create great things. But I learned a lot through that about scaffolding, a lot about time management for students. But it's a lot about students need to take responsibility for their work. And that gave me the opportunity to give them the responsibility, as much as some of them didn't like it. They did, but overall, I thought it was a great exercise. I might not use Prezi in that way again. I might let them make PowerPoints or something along those lines, but I thought it was a great opportunity. I learned a lot about making rubrics. I learned a lot about consistent grading. And I graded consistently, but a rubric would make it so much easier to grade consistently when it came to writing and that sort of stuff. I learned the value of writing. As I did not enjoy the student writing assignment that we had to do, I really learned a lot that students do need to be writing. They need to do that, and I need to help them grow. Literacy isn't just for the language arts class, it's for the history class as well. Overall, it was just a phenomenal year. I can't stress that enough. As tired as I am, as many 12, 15-hour days as I put in, creating things and getting things ready and stressing about it, I wouldn't have traded it for the world. And I can't wait to have my own classroom, to set it up from the beginning exactly the way I want, and then change it because it doesn't work the way that I want. That's really about all I have. Thank you guys for walking through this journey with me. And I look forward to my next post.